Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm hearing something, so let me go check. Okay, I think I got it. Hello and welcome, everyone, to Book Marketing Fridays. My name is Shanon, ready under the pen name of S.C. Huston, author of A Curse of Scales and Feathers and A Curse of Wings and Gems, and a bunch of books that are coming out this year. So I will be talking about all of that here soon. But the goal behind Book Marketing Fridays is to diligently spend at least this time figuring out what I'm going to do for my marketing plan, whatever that might be. I used to be very diligent about coming up with different ideas and plans for marketing my books the first couple of years. And I learned a lot in that time period. And I was marketing a fantasy trilogy, and I learned it's really not a good idea to market a book when it's your only book you have out there. I could have saved myself lots of money if I had just waited until my series was done and then marketed the series instead of all the money I put into it. But sometimes you have to learn those lessons. And I did have fun, like trying different things out and seeing what worked. So I knew that going into a new genre, which is fantasy romance, romantasy is what I write now, I was going to wait until I had a few books out before I started doing any marketing. And I feel like that now is the time for me to be doing that. And that's where Book Marketing Fridays has come in. So if you are going to be working on, I think, hello, Swank. I'm reading Book of Doors. I've never heard of that one, but it sounds like a hand opening experience because it has a door handle. I know it's a stupid dad joke, but anyways, yeah. So what I like to do at the beginning of the Book Marketing Friday sprints is I talk about, like, what I did last week that might have had some influence on whatever's going on, if it was something that was going to be impactful during the last week, which in this case it was. I did a Facebook ad. I had tried Facebook ads once in the past, like ones that I did myself, but it wasn't for a book. It was for something else, just for an experience that was mailing stuff through the online and whatnot, or mailing stuff in the mailbox, not online, in person. And so I got a chance to try out what it meant to make lots of different ads and set up ad sets and ad creatives and whatnot for Facebook. And I had taken a course. Again, I forgot his name. I just saw it too. I took a course with a guy. I bought the course like 3 years ago, and it was pretty cheap back then. And he just updates it regularly with new stuff, and I don't have to pay anything more for it. And it's more expensive now, which is really great. And Facebook changes like all the time. Hi, Renee. How's it going? Hope all is well. So last week, what I did during our 1 hour book marketing sprint here is that I made a Facebook ad for the first book in my Brides of the Dragon King series, A Curse of Scales and Feathers, was just on the screen there. A Curse of Wings and Gems just came out in January. The Florist Budding Desire comes out next. The Sunstone and the Hybrid Prince came out a couple years ago, but that's kind of, I know that my book cover on that one is not right for the genre anymore, and I need to figure out what I want to do with that, but I don't have a plan for that yet. Anyways, so I thought I would share. I know I don't really have like a lot of people here yet who... what I used to do was that once a month, I would say, okay, here's all the book marketing I did for the whole month. It was a video I created. Here's all the book marketing I did for the whole month. Here are all my ongoing costs, or the costs it took to make my books, because, I paid for cover designer and editing and all that stuff. And I was like, here's my total number at the end. So how many books I sold, how much money I made, how much money I spent on marketing, and balance all that against whatever money had already been spent on the books. And every month I did this to show, what book marketing was working, what wasn't, and my overall balance. And I was in the negative. By the time I finished, I was still in the negative. I was still like negative $3,900. And that was for my first series. I have stopped doing those videos a couple years ago when I moved into fantasy romance. So this is really the first time I've gotten back into looking at my numbers. And I know some of you guys may not care as much about Facebook ads, but my historical baseline for Curse of Scales and Feathers, now that's been out for 2 years. It came out January 2024. It's about 5 sales per month. In February, I put it on sale for 99 cents in February, which has only been on sale one other time, and that was at the end of last year for a Smashword sale. And I didn't advertise it then because it was the end of the year. That's when I go on break and I was burnt out. So I thought, okay, it's more important now that I advertise it for February, because my second book just came out. I'm about to have another book come out in March, and then launching a bunch of books after that for the rest of this year. So I decided to do the Facebook ad. I sold 59 copies total. Now there's one more day left in February, so I might sell a few more copies. But I've sold 59 copies total in this month, when my average goes like 5 sales per month. And then I started running that Facebook ad. I made the Facebook ad during the 1 hour book marketing sprint last week and made it go live then. So it started on February. So it's roughly 8 days. It's been running from February 20th through February 27th. And of those 59 copies, I sold 31 copies, which shows that the ad did do a bump up in the visibility of the book. I also did run a 1-day promotion for $10 through XP Authors XP. And that was on February 25th. That was a couple of days ago. I had a huge spike in sales that day. And so I do believe some of it was Facebook ad, but it was also came from that 1-day promotion that I did. But the Facebook ad itself, for those who might be geeks about numbers, I've got an 160 link clicks. So it made it just under 50 cents per click, which is okay. I would like it much shorter, much lower. Like I would like if it was around 20 cents, but it's not bad. And this was like a 10% click-through rate. When it comes to click-through rates with advertisements, 2 to 3% is ideal. So getting 10% click-through rate is actually really good. So that actually did show. What that showed was that the advertisement that I made during the stream last week worked, right? So the cover resonated, the hook of the advertisement, and the audience targeting was aligned. So all those things were there to get that high click-through rate. And sales did begin rising. As I made myself bullet points here so I could talk about this. The sales began rising after the Facebook ad launch, and the newsletter promotion amplified the results on February 25th. The ad did not go viral. I didn't get hundreds of copies sold, but what it did do is significantly increase visibility compared to my normal baseline of that book. Now, that's the first book that was on sale for 99 cents. And so the idea is that when you do have a book on sale and the author is putting it on sale and doing advertisements, they're going to lose money. Their ROI, their return on investment, usually is going to be in the negative. Where you're going to pick it up is in read through, right? Read through your other books in the series or the world or whatever it is you have that's connected to that one book. And that's why it really makes sense to do advertisements and pay for stuff like this when you have more than one book out already, especially if they're all connected. So, A Curse of Wings and Gems just came out last month, but I did have almost equal amount of sales this month as I did last month, which is usually not normal, at least not in my experience. First month that you have a book that's brand new out, you get a ton of sales, and then it kind of trickles down, and then it flattens out to what's going to be normally what you're selling every month. And my sales were pretty much the same. And I did often see that when I had a sell of A Curse of Wings and Gems, it paired with A Curse of Scales and Feathers. So I didn't really ever see A Curse of Wings and Gems, making a sale by itself. And I check my numbers quite regularly throughout the day for the last week since I've been running the Facebook ad. So my overall takeaway from this, suggest full price sales. So it does suggest that some full price sales of A Curse of Wings and Gems likely came from new readers who started A Curse of Scales and Feathers. So the overall takeaway, my biggest issue is visibility. Really, it's not really at conversion at this point. So when new readers saw A Curse of Scales and Feathers, they bought it, and some continued into A Curse of Wings and Gems. And so, and the takeaway from using the ad, which has been running 8 days, is that in that 8 days, I sold 31 copies, like I mentioned earlier. Which is about 6 times my normal monthly baseline. And so in just over a week. So yeah, okay. There are all my numbers. Threw them all out with the ad. So what is my intention for today? Well, I have another book that will be coming out. It's coming out at 99 cents. Not also 99 cents because A Curse of Wings and Gems came out at full price because that was a Kickstarter book. So I typically, when my bigger books, they're Kickstarter books, I don't launch them at a sale price because my Kickstarter backers pay full price for the books. So that's why A Curse of Scales and Feathers was not even on sale for almost 2 years. This is the first time I've done a sale was 2 years later. So that way, my Kickstarter backers got the best deal, which is the same deal that everyone else would get. They just got it a little bit earlier. So, but the Florist Budding Desire is launching at 99 cents, and which I did sell that during my Kickstarter, but for $1. You can't do 99 cents on Kickstarter. You have to do whole dollars. So that's not really much of a difference of price. So I can launch it at 99 cents and then take it up later. And I'm going to launch it at 99 cents and keep it there until my first novelette publishes the next month on April 24th. And so my intention for today is to generate multiple ads. So I'm trying to make it sound as easy to understand as possible. I want to have multiple ad sets. An ad set is like a folder with 4 files in it. And they have another ad set that is it could be for the same book, but it has a different theme and it has 4 files in it. So the idea behind that is to see which ad actually pulls the most views and clicks, that has the best numbers that go with it. So you only change one thing in each ad set. So like in ad set number 1, I might use the same exact image but use a different hook from the book, or something, a trope, a different hook on the trope or whatever. There's just going to be one thing that changes. There's really 4 main parts of an ad for Facebook. It's you got the creative, so you've got the image, you've got like the headline and the description, and there's one other part of it. There's really the main 4 ones, but one is more, doesn't really have as much weight as the top 3. So you really want to change just one of those things. So the same picture, and then change just the headline, or you have the same headline but you have 4 different pictures, or whatever it is that you want to come up with. And so that's what my intention today is, to start coming up with some of these images. My cat is, we have a carpeted flooring, but I have another carpet on top of the carpet, and he's like scrunching around underneath the carpet. So he's like this bump going underneath the other carpet. Anyway, that's Loki. So yeah, so I'm going to be making ad sets today and see what I can come up with. So, all right. See, after Renee came in, then JL came in. Hello, everyone. Spirit hopping, leaving likes while trying to get the house in order before my husband's surgery. Hello, Eloise. How's it going? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too. How's everyone doing today? Does anyone anyone else ever wish they could be like, I dream of Jeannie, and just kind of wiggle your nose and suddenly the house is clean all the time? Every day. Oh my God, yes. Yes, I wish that was a thing. Maybe one day. One day we'll have robots that can clean the house for us. So that would be nice. Very, very nice. Okay, we're going to do a 1-hour sprint. I'm riding the high of finishing my draft yesterday. Congratulations, Eloise. I knew that you were getting close to it because you sent out the form for the beta readers. So I knew that was coming. But I don't know what else I was going to say. I kind of got sidetracked for a second there in my head. 1 hour on the clock. And 3, 2, 1. Good luck. And that is time. How did you do? I decided what strategy I wanted to use for the Facebook ads for my novella that's coming out next month. And I decided to do, it's going to be at the ad set level, but I'm just going to have one ad. So I'm going to do some macro testing first before I do micro testing. And each ad set will just have one ad in which I'm seeing what brings people into the book more. And so the copy variations I'm looking at are like for the first version is like cozy, intimate romance. The second one is he thinks he is beyond redemption, love built on safety and choice. And then the last one is two scarred hearts. I think that will work. So I worked on the ad copy, the primary text, the headline, the description. And then I was just starting to look at what creatives I can use. I have a copy of the book cover, of course. And then I have one image that I've really liked using that was for the main female character. But I kept thinking, but people really like, that romantic image of a couple. And so I was just trying to come up with some ideas of what I want to do for that. Yeah. So I didn't really do anything with images this time, but I came up with ideas for what I want to do for the ads themselves and how I'm going to test them and my strategy. I did write some notes on that too. The strategy, I have 3 different phases. There's a 4th phase, and I just didn't name it 4th phase, but like a timeline strategy. So I'll start running these on March 1st. The book comes out March 16th. And so from March 1st to 10th, I'll run angle testing at lower budgets. I think I'm gonna do like $3 or $4 a day. And it's just, my goal is to kind of identify which one of these will do the best, 1 or 2. And then March 11th through 16th, pause any losers that are in the bunch, increase the budget on the winners, add urgency language. We'll see what that looks like. And then launch week, and then push the strongest creative, and probably will increase the budget again on that one. We'll just see. A lot of it I will look at the numbers as they go to see what's working. But, okay. So anyways, I basically wrote up my plan for my Facebook ad strategy for when this next book launches. See how you guys did. Oh, I could take the banner off. Let me take that off. Left off here with Eloise saying, I'm writing I'm finishing my draft yesterday. It's always so awesome. And Renee was, congrats, Eloise. Yay. And nice, I joined at the right time. Hi, Moons. Hi, all. Hope you were able to get some productivity in. And Renee saying, hello. Additionally stopped in. Hi, Additionally. How's it going? JL says, hello, everyone coming in. Brian is just about to get home, so I'm going to hop off. Hope everyone has a good rest of your day. And that was like a half hour ago. So I appreciate you being here for as long as you're able to, JL. Andy saying hello. And Renee saying, making good progress on my art project. I love art. I want to paint again. One day I'll paint again. Yeah. I don't get to paint as much, and then I do simple stuff. So like I did that butterfly in the background. It's not much, but it kind of goes with everything I have going on. But yeah, okay. Well, that was the end. It's just a 1-hour sprint to work on book marketing. And oh yeah, that's where I was going to grab. Where do I want to go? Here. I do have a charm chats in a couple of hours. What time is it? It's 2:00. Hour and 45 minutes. I have a charm chat. And this is with Willow Byrne, but she does write under different pen names. I know her by Willow. That's kind of how I've known her for a few years now. But the book we'll be talking about is CJ Sweetbottom, which is a new pen name, I believe, for her. But she also writes under Lori Tennant. So, yeah. It's all romance is what she writes. I don't remember what the breakup is of what I think this new one, the one that the book we're talking about today, it's a really whimsical, sweet romance. At least I think it's sweet. It feels like it's very sweet. Yeah, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed the book. So, okay, see, Willow, charm chats. And there's the link for that. I'll try to be there. Oh, I appreciate it, Moons. Yeah, it feels like I was looking at the numbers for the charm chats, and it started off really strong at the beginning of the month. It was like, 60 plus people coming, and then it's kind of like slowly dropped off as the month went on. And I was like, I remember that when I did the charm chats like 2 years ago, it was pretty good engagement all throughout. So then I start feeling bad for the author. So I'm like, I was hoping to bring engagement there. Especially we've had a couple of Sunday ones where there was like one person who showed up and I felt so bad for the author. But thankfully those have gotten some rewatches. So there's some more people there. So whoever can make it is great. And we'll talk about her book. It's an interesting, it's whimsical. It's kind of set, feels like a Victorian England time period, but you have, you start off in the male perspective, the male point of view. So it's a male-female romance. And he just learned he has to be noble and of the nobility or whatever. He was not meant to be part of the nobility, but he'd rather just catalog plants all day. And he accidentally, it's called the Botanist's Field Guide to Accidental Betrothals, and accidentally gets engaged to a pixie. Because he's out there like cataloging all these different life forms and stuff in the forest, and comes across her and he's like studying her and like, well, is she hungry? And he has a ham sandwich. So he offers her the sandwich. So she takes the sandwich, and that starts the beginning of their betrothal. And he doesn't even know it. So it's a bit funny in a lot of respects, and interesting. There's definitely some tropes there that you'll recognize from if you read anything with Faye, because iron hurts her, which is that's a trope with Faye, is iron usually hurts them, and things like that. So yeah, it was interesting. I like the book. Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming today. I will be back on in a couple hours, and then I'll be back again tomorrow, same time as today for the Charm Chats. It's 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern with Rachel D. Adams, who is here in the AuthorTube community. So, and then that'll be the last Charm Chats. And then I'll just be back to my regular weekly sprints. So, all right. Thank you everyone so much for coming today.